Good morning, it's Sunday, and we're churning up something golden. Sweet corn ice cream with cornbread crumbles, brown butter caramel, and a little bit of flaky sea salt. I've made this recipe before, but this time around I'm gonna make quite a few adjustments. So if it turns out the way that I expect it to, it should be cozy, indulgent, and taste like late summer heaven. Let's do this and find out.
Today, we're turning sweet corn into something unforgettable. Think creamy custard, a swirl of brown butter caramel, and crunchy cornbread crumbs. Sweet, salty, and totally irresistible. Let's make this scoop-worthy masterpiece happen.
All right, let's talk about this ice cream base. We're not just dumping cream and sugar into a bowl and calling it a day. No, we're bringing out the big guns for this one. Fresh sweet corn straight off the cob. It's gonna steep and get all cozy with the cream and create the best corn on the cob, but in ice cream form. So get out your saucepan, because things are about to get corny. I can't with that corny joke.
We're starting with fresh corn, shucking and cutting those sweet kernels off, tossing them into a pot with the cobs for some extra flavor. In goes the cream, milk, sugar, a touch of honey, and we bring it all together and transfer it to the stove. This is where we let it get nice and bubbly. After a bubble bath and a quick mix, remove it from the heat, and now we're gonna let it steep, covering it to soak in all that corn flavor. Once steeped, uncover it, pull out those cobs, and transfer that mixture to a blender. Now we're gonna smooth it all out. Once the consistency is nice and smooth, strain it back into the same pot we used for steeping. There's no need to dirty another dish here. Now it's time to add the egg yolks and give it another mix, and we're off to the stove again. This time, we're gonna heat it up to the perfect temperature, not boiling, but nice and hot. Once that temperature is reached, we'll stir in the salt and vanilla and one last trip through the fine mesh strainer. Then we're off to chill.
Next up, cornbread. Because if we're gonna make sweet corn ice cream, we might as well go all in. This isn't just filler. These golden crumbs are gonna bring a toasty, buttery crunch that makes every bite way more interesting. It's basically cornbread's time to shine, in ice cream form.
Start by mixing the dry ingredients: cornmeal, flour, sugar, baking powder and soda, and a pinch of salt. Whisk it all together to get that perfect base. Now for the wet ingredients. We're adding honey to our melted butter while it's still warm, helping it mix in nicely. Into the bowl goes milk and eggs with a good mix. Now pour in that buttery honey goodness and fold the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. Once it's all combined, we'll add that batter to a prepared pan. Make sure it's nice and smooth. Then off to the oven it goes to bake up golden brown. Once it's out and cooled, we'll slice off one edge, just a bit for this recipe, so keep the rest of the cornbread for a tasty side dish. Next, we'll crumble the cornbread. Pour over our melted butter, sprinkle down the brown sugar, and give it a really good toss. Make sure it's all spread out, and then it goes back into the oven. Get ready for that perfect crispy cornbread crumbs.
And now the final piece to this decadent puzzle. We're making brown butter caramel that's rich and nutty. It's the kind of swirl that sneaks into every scoop and makes you wonder why you'd ever settle for plain caramel again. Trust me, this one's worth licking the spoon.
We're starting by melting the butter until it's all golden and bubbly, then adding in the brown sugar. Give it a good stir and cook it for about a minute. Now we're gonna slowly whisk in the heavy cream, letting it all come together until it's nice and smooth. Remove it from the heat and stir in a pinch of salt and a splash of vanilla. Once that's all mixed, we're gonna pour a small portion of that onto parchment paper, spreading it nice and thin. Sprinkle with some flaky sea salt for that extra kick, and then we're gonna pop it into the freezer to set. The rest of the caramel goes into a small container to completely cool.
The base is chilled, the cornbread's ready, and the caramel is calling our name. Let's churn this beauty, fold in those cornbread crumbs, layer in those ribbons of caramel, and scatter those shards of crunch. It's part art, part dessert engineering, but with the promise that every scoop of this ice cream will be ridiculous. Or so I think. Let's put it all together.
Remove the lid from the chilled ice cream base and peel back that plastic wrap. Give it a quick mix, then pour it into the ice cream maker. It's time to get Phyllis all dressed up. She's going to work, so she needs everything in its perfect place. We'll layer in the salt and layer in the ice, and then flip Phyllis's switch on. After it's churned to perfection, we're going to transfer the ice cream to a chilled bowl and fold in those delicious cornbread crumbs. Now here's where things went a little south with the caramel crunch. It didn't solidify, as you can see. That's because I have too much cream in the mix. This caramel is designed for ice cream, so we don't want it to solidify. And I knew that. I just wasn't thinking about it at the time. But no worries, we've already got those ribbons of caramel, so this part's getting scratched. Grab your ice cream container, add in the base with the crumbs, drizzle in that gorgeous caramel, and give it a light swirl. Repeat the layering until it's time to put the lid on. Into the freezer it goes. She needs to solidify a bit more for my liking. That way she can come out looking like a sweet, creamy dream come true. That perfect swirl of caramel and crunch. This ice cream is on another level.
And there you have it, sweet corn ice cream, swirled, scooped, and ready to go. The caramel crunch didn't make it to this party, but honestly, we don't even need it. This ice cream is so good. It's rich, velvety, and just irresistible. It's the ice cream that I'm gonna be sneaking spoonfuls of directly from the freezer. I'm gonna enjoy my hard work, hopefully not all in one night, and I'll see you next Sunday.